Hey YouTube, Jericho here. Well, they've done it. They finally announced that pre-patch is going live October 25th. But unfortunately, there are a couple of caveats here that, we should probably go over. So I've got the pre-patch announcement right here, ready to go. We'll go through it together, and we'll see what exactly is coming on October 25th, and what we're going to have to wait a little bit longer to see. So they start every new adventure begins with a single step, and the journey to the Dragon Isles is nearly here when the first of two pre-expansion patches go live with the completion of regional realm maintenance beginning October 25th. So, as you'll note, Phase 1, October 25th. With that comes the talent system revamp, and it says Dragonflight contains major updates to World of Warcraft classes, centering on the reintroduction of talent trees. The new talent system empowers players to make creative and meaningful talent changes without compromising their effectiveness, and most importantly, gives them meaningful options at every level. Of course, I do like the new talent system. It's going to be a good time. But of course, limited interesting gameplay at level 60 in the pre-patch content, so it's something, but, not too much there for fun kind of new gameplay. Heads-up display interface changes. So players will experience an updated user interface and heads-up display, allowing customization of the base UI and providing a modernized appearance to the layout and view while maintaining the original design's charm and personality. The new HUD is looking good. It looks like it still has some rough edges here and there, but you know what? I think it is kind of coming together, so we'll have to kind of see what happens there. Accessibility features, definitely some really cool stuff here, including the press and hold spellcasting, interact keys, gamepad support, and more good stuff. Rated solo shuffle, we've got the PvP brawl of old that they're finally adding as a new mode. I'm not super into PvP, but this looks like a lot of fun regardless, so they go. Rated solo shuffle is coming. Players will be able to earn seasonal rewards and achievements, credit towards vicious mounts, and weekly Great Vault progress and conquests similar to rated battlegrounds and arenas. Cross-faction play will also be enabled. And finally, new class and race combinations. The rogue, priest, and mage classes will be available to all races to create and play. So if you've had a combination you haven't been able to play before and you really want to, great, that's in there. You'll be able to do that on October 25th. Unfortunately, some of the more important and anticipated pieces of the pre-patch are coming a little bit later, in 3 weeks on November 15th. And if you've if your eyes have darted down here, you'll note very quickly the new race class Dragonflight Evoker is not coming until Phase 2, so this is now confirmed. Players will menace their foes or empower their abilities as the new Dragonflight Evoker, World of Warcraft's first ever race and class combination. Able to switch between a humanoid visage and fearsome draconic form, the Dragonflight are highly mobile, and their unique Evoker class can specialize in range damage dealing or in aiding their allies as a healer by harnessing the mystical gifts of dragonkind. So, yeah, on the whole, kind of disappointing we're not going to be able to play this from pre-patch next week. Not the most surprising thing in the world. We did kind of get some hints from data mining that this was going to be the case. But alas, here we are, November 15. You'll have 2 weeks to make your Evoker, get used to it, and then enjoy it on Dragonflight launch on November 28th. So there'll be a new zone, of course, the Forbidden Reach. This is your starting zone for the Dragonflight Evoker. We've got the new dungeon, Uldaman Legacy of Tyr, which is coming with the pre-patch. So this is one of the new dungeons, of course, coming with Dragonflight, but we're getting it a little bit early because it's part of sort of the story leading into Dragonflight. This is located in the Badlands within the Eastern Kingdoms. Players will venture into Uldaman to lay claim to a legacy of knowledge left behind by the Titans. This ancient Titan facility is where long ago allies of the heroic keeper Tyr hid the discs of Norganon. Very exciting. And finally, the in-game events, Primal Storms. So you're going to ward off attacks from the Primalists with new quests and world events, setting the stage for Dragonflight's launch. We saw this a little bit earlier on a stream recently. I pulled up the Wowhead preview, and there's some cool transmogs to get with this one, especially if you're plate. There's a really cool helmet. So interesting, little tidbit to kind of keep you over until the expansion comes out, but, not too much there, in general. So this just dropped. My overall thoughts on this one are that phase one is looking a little bit lacking, especially if you've been super excited to get into the evoker class. Personally, I do think the talents are going to be really exciting, especially if you haven't been on beta or PTR sort of playing with this stuff. But the thing that always gets me with pre-patch is that there's not really any super exciting content to really push with said new talents and experiences. I don't really care about doing my M plus or rating during pre-patch. You can technically preview it a little bit that way, and that's fine. But the big thing is that frankly, you're not at max level. You're not. You don't have your full 30 talents in the spec tree to be able to play with and use, so you're not really even getting that full experience. And it's kind of always a mix with that and the old Shadowlands stuff. It's usually just a big cluster and, not the most super exciting experience. You will have some time to set up your new UI if you're using the Blizzard default, which frankly has come a long way. It's looking pretty good. Still, I think a long way to go to match the sort of capability of stuff like LVUI and shadowed unit frames, but it's getting a lot closer. And is something that I might consider trying, especially as a DPS player where I'm not as focused on my raid frames the entire time. I might be able to get away with it, so we'll see how that goes. And of course, if you're into PvP, then Solo Shuffle should be a fun time, but overall, when it comes to this, for me, phase one looking a little sparse, looking a little lacking, and we'll definitely be looking forward to phase two, mainly so I can create my evoker and get going on that one. They've also released, this tweet here with the sort of visual roadmap to help sort of knock out what's going on here. So, of course, October 25, my little coffee cup is covering it, but our pre-patch begins as phase one that we were talking about. Phase two on November 15th. Our Drakthir evokers are playable. The launch of the Dragonflight expansion then comes on November 28th, the end of November. So mark your calendars for that one. It should be a good time. And then 2 weeks later, December 13th, the raid opens. So one quick important thing to remember about the raid coming out is that there's no specific heroic week compared to mythic week. The entire raid is coming out all at the same time in the same week. Get ready for a ridiculous world first race where everyone's trying to jam that out before Christmas, before the holiday season. So it should be a really fun time. And definitely sort of start talking with your guilds about what your plan's going to be for that week. If you're going to just jump right into normal or heroic, if you're going to try and bash your head against the first mythic boss just for fun, it should be a fun time on the whole. So do remember that. Finally, what's really exciting about this announcement here and this graphic is, of course, that we're getting Twitch drops starting November 15th. So again, our phase two pre-patch right into launch, and then when the raid comes out this is going to be, about a month and a half, 2 months of Twitch drops, it looks like, which is always very exciting. Lots of cool stuff to look out for. I'm definitely going to be trying to get my streams in when the Twitch drops are up, so you should be able to tune in to the Jericho stream on Twitch for Twitch drops as they are enabled. So always a good time there. And we'll have to see what sorts of cool new skins and little aesthetic goodies they happen to give us. So very exciting. Nicholas here looking for the Twitch drops. Very, very fun. So overall, I have to say, very exciting that we're finally getting the pre-patch details announced and confirmed. 2 weeks to get your evoker all set up and ready to go is not going to be the end of the world, but would have been nice to play with it a little bit more, but hey, such is life. And what I'm hoping for is that this does give them a good amount of time here to sort of get the last polish on the class as they sort of should and as the class deserves. I made a video and a post recently about stuff that I'd like to see sort of adjusted with and sort of fixed with the evoker before launch, so to speak. Talking about kind of defensives and some of the tuning that I'd like to see. So I'm hoping that this sort of gives them a good amount of time, at least, to get some of that last polish in place, and then sort of leave themselves open for tuning, etc. in that first week of the raid. So really looking forward to it. Alright guys, so I think that's going to do it for this one. If you enjoyed the video, and of course if you've been enjoying videos on the channel, be sure to like and subscribe. It means a lot to me. Looking for that 1,000 sub mark so that YouTube sees me as a real content creator and not just a weird coffee cup. So looking forward to that. And look out for much more content on the Evoker, especially as we come up to launch here and our Phase 2 launch on November 15th. Check out the description for links to my guide on Devastation Evoker and my Discord and all the fun stuff. And until next time, have a good one.